Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Are we feeling my outfit today? I'm feeling very patriotic, definitely very Miss America in this outfit. Don't know if I'm allowed in those pageants, but regardless, I'm here. I'm feeling very patriotic. So before we start, just want to say a huge thank you to all the new members on my channel. You guys know I now have memberships where people who join can see exclusive videos, and the button is down below to do that. Link in the description, all that. But moving on. So for the past week, everyone and their mother has been on me, sometimes in a harsh way, sometimes in a nice way, to make this video. And I live streamed about this, but for some reason, people still, I just cannot escape the immense amount of people telling me, why didn't you make a video? Why didn't you make a video? My community, the trans community, is currently up in arms because of an article that came out of the New York Times titled, "Transgender could be defined out of existence under Trump administration." So this article explains that there is a leaked memo, not a real piece of legislation currently, that is attempting to change the definition of sex in the context of civil rights laws. So the proposed change is that in civil rights laws, the word sex would be defined by a person's biological sex and not gender. So my community got very, very upset over this, and there's a lot of people running this campaign of "we will not be erased." What was it, Joey? It was what was the game that the stadium where the big flag? What sport was that? What stadium was that? Baseball. I don't know anything about sports, but there was a big game.
World Series.
The World Series, in which a big banner came down that says "we will not be erased" or "trans people will not be erased," and basically everyone is shooting bricks. And as a trans creator, all I've heard in my mentions, people only talk about this, so let's talk about it. A lot of people were very upset that I didn't, talk about this the second it came out, but I feel like it's just kind of ignorant to do that in the first place. I wanted to see what it really was. I wanted to look into it. I wanted to do research and find as much objective information as I possibly could. So I want to do a little bit of myth busting here. So the first thing people are saying is that this would take away civil rights protections for trans people. This is actually false. Even if this comes to pass, which it has not, and which we don't know if it will, it actually will not take civil rights protections away from trans people. They're actually already protected under the definition of sex, regardless of if this only includes biological sex or for someone's preferred gender. There's already a historical precedent that the way federal courts rule is that trans people are included by the word sex, because the idea is that when it comes to discrimination, you can't really talk about trans people without bringing up their biological sex, whatever it may be. So they are included by that. So to put it simply, there's no real tangible change on our legal standing with discrimination laws, even if the word sex changes to just biological sex, if that makes sense. What I see a lot of people saying is that if this memo is real and if it turns into a piece of legislation that is passed, it basically means that you can no longer change your documents to your preferred gender, your preferred sex. And that is not actually true, because that is actually state by state. Each state has different laws and regulations on what it takes and what they require to actually change your paperwork. California being obviously the easiest to probably do it in. And then, I don't know, Mississippi maybe being the hardest. Probably stereotyping there, but it's probably also true. And the federal government does recognize those regulations as valid. So it's a state by state thing, not the federal government. And then, of course, the title of the article says transgender could be defined out of existence under Trump administration, which, they don't really have the power over the dictionary. So regardless, we would still be here. The only question is whether or not civil rights protections would be taken from us. And as far as I can see from the objective information I'm finding, and not just, opinion pieces, it wouldn't take anything away. So if this is an attack on trans people, it's not a particularly effective one, because it wouldn't actually change anything. And I feel like, if there were some attempted attack on our rights and on us in general, I feel like there's a lot more effective routes of going about that, rather than changing the definition of one word, which already protects us. I think it's always important to acknowledge that headlines around this time, midterm season and presidential elections, are usually crafted to scare people. There really is no better method of getting people to get up off the couch and go vote than scaring the shit out of them. And granted, y'all need to vote.
Get your cute little butt out there and vote.
But I feel like this isn't something you really need to be scared of. I've been getting a ton of messages from a lot of, especially really young trans people. I've been getting messages from people saying, well, I have to detransition. If you only read headlines and you don't really go into the nitty gritty of what it actually would do, then I can see why you're scared. Steph Sinjati made a video saying that trans people won't exist according to the law, which is absolutely false, because there actually is no legal definition of transgender. Trans people are just included under the sex protections. Trans activist Carmen Carrera did a video where she just flat out falsely said that this means that trans people can never change their documents anymore.
Today, there's not so good news. Today, the Trump administration issued a memo.
It's not what it is at all. She's just lying. She's just saying what she wants to hear.
It's not what it is at all because it wasn't issued. It was leaked and never even verified real or fake. It's like that alone. It's like fear mongering in a sense because it's saying that something is like definitely something it isn't.
Right.
No, Carmen, no.
Now, this would also eradicate the 1.4 million trans people who've already gone through the system of changing their birth certificates and their gender marker, much like myself.
Girl, this is just flat out not true. This is something that's run state by state, not by the federal government. Each state has different laws and regulations on how to change your gender marker on your birth certificate, driver's license, etc. And the federal government recognizes each state for those laws and regulations. So this is just actually not true. And I think it's not really productive to be scaring people. It's just not. It's just not. So this leads us to the larger question that I'm sure people are going to want to ask me in the comments, which is, do you think Trump is a win or lose for trans people? Do you think he's an ally to trans people, etc.? One thing I get asked all the time about in person and in interviews or whatever is Trump's tweet in 2017, I think it was, saying that trans people shouldn't be on the front lines in the military. And to that, I would say, it's hard to get super upset about that because it was a tweet and it was never actually something that came to be. You know, it was a tweet and some people say it was possibly a distraction for something else. I don't really know. I don't really like speculating. I do want the Trump administration to leave social issues just alone. So if anyone from the administration is watching, honey, just leave it alone. The gag of it is I don't really think Trump is an ally or an enemy of the LGBT community. He held the flag up for a photo op. To me, that was a photo op. He made the statement that Caitlyn Jenner can use the female restroom in the Trump administration. Again, don't really care either way about that. One thing he did do that was kind of ally-ish was he ended the ban on transgender people for the Miss Universe pageant.
You heard it. Donald Trump has just revealed to Showbiz Tonight he's reversing course, and he now is letting transgender beauty queen Jenna Talikova compete in his Miss Universe pageant.
I thought that was cool. Again, that wasn't something that happened during his presidency, obviously. He's not running the Miss Universe pageant while he's president. But the long and short of it is I feel like I said, I think he should leave social issues, this one specifically, alone. I don't think he's good or bad for trans people. I think he's just doesn't care. And I would prefer to not even be on the radar at all because I would prefer for the culture to get to a point where trans people are fine in the world. I don't really see the need for intervention from the government. I just don't. And no, trans people could not be defined out of existence, even if this was the threat that people are making it out to be. You know, I could never be erased. I'm here regardless. Trans people have been here since the beginning. And it is what it is. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Woosah. Woosah. That is all for today's video. I hope that any of you guys who were freaked out about this are less freaked out about this now. I hope that I kind of calm your nerves a little bit and maybe explain some things that you haven't heard explained yet. So I love you guys. Send this video to anyone who is shitting bricks over this. Comment your thoughts below. I want to hear every single thought. One little known fact is I read every single comment. Subscribe for more videos, and if you really love me, become a member of this channel. The button is down below next to the subscribe button. Being a member gets you exclusive videos that no one else can see. Only members can see it. And yeah, but until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.